Hello, everybody. My name is Patricia Sun, and I'm from LanguageWorks. Welcome back to part 2 of my video today of the present perfect tense. We're going to focus on the question form, the question use, and so you can ask questions better in this tense when it's the right situation. Okay, I have prepared a very quick, a list of little scenarios for you to use in everyday communication. All right. Okay, let's look at scenario number 1. Remember last week I talked about the present perfect tense being very useful for your travel experience, your eating experience, any kind of experience that you have had from a time in the past up to right now, current situation, okay, at the moment of speaking or just connected to right now. So I thought I should just focus a little bit more on this one here. So then get to type it last week. How to ask questions with a person's experience. For traveling, for example, if you're going to refer to the person in front of you as you have to obviously match it with have. So, for example, have you, this has to be been as the verb number 3, past participle. Have you been to India? Or have you ever been to India in your life? This is how we ask the question form, have and been. Okay, another example with eating, perhaps have you tried? Okay, so try, that's verb number 3, tried. Our Singaporean dish is local dish called chili crab. Here are 2 examples for, asking about a person's experience. Okay, so let's look at the next scenario. About the weather today. I'm sure all of you know, well, if you are in Singapore, it's been raining all day. As far as I know, from lunchtime up to right now, almost dinner time. So how do we ask the question here about the rain, about the weather? Okay, so normally it's always about the rain, not about the sun. So it would be, if you refer to the weather, which pronoun do you use? He, she, it. Okay, it has to be it, so we must match it with has. Remember I mentioned for present perfect, you either use the helper verb have or has. That's all, only these 2. So has it is going to be my past participle, verb 3. Has it stopped raining? Okay, and how do you answer? So you either say yes, it has actually, or no, it hasn't. Okay, and you notice the answer has or hasn't will be tied to the first verb here in the question form, which is has. How we use the answer properly according to the first verb in that sentence. Okay, so this is about the weather today. You can use present perfect, question form. Next, let's look at scenario number 3. At a friend's house, for example, your friend asks you this question about if you're full or hungry, and normally if you are not, if we haven't agreed to meet for lunch or dinner, maybe just at a different time. So he or she might ask you, have you? And what would the past participle be? Because it has to do with a meal, lunch or dinner or breakfast. So we normally use, the collocation would be to have a meal, for example, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So then it would be, have you had, which is the past participle form of have. I've got have, had. So verb number 3, had. Have you had anything to eat? Okay. So that's another example. Question. And again, you can reply, yes, I have, or no, I haven't actually. Okay. And sometimes, I mean, naturally, the next question from your friend would be, would you like to have something to eat then? Would you like something? Okay, so we'll move to a different tense. But we begin with the present perfect tense because your friend wouldn't know from a time before up to when you were at this person's house if you have had anything to eat. And same for scenario 1, the life experience from before up to now. So that's why we have these questions, very applicable. Okay, so let's look at scenario number 4. eating in a restaurant. For example, the waiter comes to clear your plate, and they would ask the question if you have finished. So, do you know it? Have you? This is quite simple, perhaps, finished. But don't forget also to pronounce the ed when you're speaking, because that represents the past participle. Have you finished? And, you know, even, may I please clear the plate or the table? Okay, so have you finished? And again, you can answer like in scenario number 3, yes, I have, thank you, or no, I haven't, I need a few more minutes, thank you. Okay, now let's look at the last scenario for today, number 5, making a reservation via the telephone between 2 people. And one of us, for example, has already made the reservation, but the other party doesn't know it. So the question would be, maybe a person asks, shall I make a reservation? Or, you know, to use this to apply the present perfect tense would be, have you? You can have, you can add already if you want. Okay, or not, doesn't really matter. Have you already made a reservation at the restaurant? And again, the answer would be, yes, I have, no, I haven't. Can you do it? Or yes, I have. No worries, you don't need to do it. Okay, so I hope if you look at all these 5 scenarios, all the question forms that we have that has to do with the present perfect tense, it is very applicable, and try to use these correctly. Just remember from a time in the past up to right now, the current situation, and you should be okay. If you've got any questions, feel free to type them out for me in the description box down below, and I can have to address some of your questions if you have any. And okay, so again, I will leave this with you and signing out for now. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.